I cannot believe that I'm actually filming this video. Bro, this is crazy. 2 years in the making, guys. 2 years in the making. I've dreamt of the day where I finally got to film this video, and the day has come. Here it is. Hey guys, it's Caitlin, and today is a very special day because I finally get to announce that I will be joining Walt Disney World Entertainment. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm finally saying it. Like, there's so much that I need to tell you and so much that I need to explain. Obviously, this video is going to be different from my other videos. Typically, I am vlogging, but today I'm going to be sitting down and talking you guys through my whole entire journey as to how I got here. Buckle in, get ready for me to yap. And if you don't want to hear me yap, then I'm sorry, wrong video. Before we get into anything, I just want to thank you guys so much for being so supportive throughout this whole entire journey, because if you have been following me for a while and if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that this role has been on my radar for almost 2 years now. You guys were so invested and so supportive and so curious and so just like sweet about this whole thing, even though I never really told you what it was that I was waiting for. And I genuinely don't think I would have made it here without all of the support that I felt from you guys and my friends and my family and everybody that I work with. And yeah, so thank you so much. You've played a giant role in this without even knowing, you know? I'm crying. Before we get into the story, I do want to bring up character integrity. So character integrity is something that we value here at Walt Disney World. I will continue to respect character integrity, and I ask that all of you guys also help me maintain character integrity, because as much as I want to continue to create content while I'm on this journey, I will unfortunately have to put my content creation on the line for my job, at least for the time being. I believe that you guys will help me maintain character integrity throughout this whole process. However, just in case anyone needs to hear it, I'm putting it out there. I don't even know where to start. So we're just gonna start from the beginning. June 28th, 2022 is the very first day I sent in my Walt Disney World audition. So if you guys don't already know, Disney World has an auditions page, disneyauditions.com, where they post auditions for Disney live entertainment in their parks. My best friend Molly sent me a listing and she was like, you need to audition for this. And I was like, girl, I don't know. I've always wanted to be a Disney performer. I used to do show choir and theater in middle school, and then that dream kind of ended when I had to choose between theater and sports in high school. That artistic and like performative part of me never died. I mean, obviously I do have a YouTube channel, which is a little bit different of a medium than like theater, but it's still kind of like entertainment in a way. Even though I've pursued YouTube, my dream of becoming a performer at Disney World never died. However, since I did stop performing in middle school, I was like, I am not qualified for this. There are too many people that are much better than me at like performing. Obviously, dreams like that never die. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to audition. It's online. There's like no commitment here other than learning this dance and submitting it. If you guys don't know, Disney has started to do online auditions. Online auditions are when you pretty much submit headshots, you submit a little dance that they teach you on YouTube, and then you kind of just wait and see if they call you back to move forward in the audition process. I took my own headshots on a tripod. I had no fancy camera. I used my iPhone. I learned how to do a little movement routine that they posted on YouTube, and I submitted it. And I forgot about it because I was like, even though this is a dream, I'm not expecting anything. About a week after I submitted that audition, Disney called me back for an in-person audition. They were like, hey, you're moving forward in the audition process based on this online submission, and we would love to see you in person. I got this email while I was on the tram in the parking lot on the way to Magic Kingdom, and I was like, oh my god, this is the most magical day ever. And it literally was. It was. I went in for this in-person audition, and when I tell you, this was the craziest experience I've ever had. Oh my god, it was like, I did not expect anything that happened. I felt like almost a celebrity in a way. I went in and I met the casting directors, and they gave me a script to read, and I read it for them. They videotaped me, they took pictures of me, and they were like, okay, you might hear back from us, you might not. there's that. Later that night, the same day I had that in-person audition, they emailed me and they were like, hey, we see you as a really strong candidate for this role. Please submit this video. They sent me a YouTube link of another dance that I had to learn. I learned the dance that they sent me immediately, and then I sent it to them the same exact day because I was like, I'm not gonna waste any time. And then I heard nothing for a month, and I was like, whoa, everything was moving so fast just now. Why is there radio silence? Not a yes, not a no, not nothing. And I was like, okay. So a month later, I emailed them and I was like, hey, I submitted this callback a little bit ago. I would love to know if I'm moving forward in the process. They emailed me and they were like, hey, you're actually approved. We have seen you as a strong candidate for this role. You're currently in our hiring pool. We just have to wait for a position to open and we'll reach out. At this point, I was celebrating. In my brain, I was like, oh my gosh, like I got the job. Like they approved me. All I have to do is wait for them to call me and give me the start date. So I was popping champagne. I was like going out with my friends. I was getting celebrating buttons. If you guys have been following me since then, you know that I posted a post on Instagram in August of 2022, practically saying like, one of my dreams is about to come true. And I was so naive. After that celebration, it all died down very quickly because I never heard back. So 2 months later, I auditioned again because I never heard back. And they were like, hey, we saw you submitted, but you're already in the pool, so just hang out, like we'll call you when we need you kind of thing. I took that as a good sign because I was like, oh, they know who I am. They're practically telling me I have the job. I just need to wait for a position to open. And then months went by once again, and oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. It hurts me to really put myself back into my shoes of that time because I just had so much hope. I had so much hope and I had so many people supporting me. I'm tearing up, I'm crying. But I was literally at the point where I was like wishing my life away. Casting only emails on weekdays because they're off on weekends. So I would sit at home on the weekend and be like, I want this day to be over. I want it to be a weekday again so that the probability of them emailing me is higher. To me, it felt like I was dragging this celebration on for too long and nothing was gonna come of it. And I was hanging on to this tiny thread of hope. Now you guys know. Now you guys know why I was so down bad working in Adventureland. When I was working at Pirates and I was crying every day, it was because I wanted this role so bad. Because I started working at Pirates the exact same time I figured out I was in the pool. It wasn't because I hated it that much. It's just because I knew I had this potential role on the horizon and it wasn't coming. I'm not saying you should do this. I am not saying you should do this. I was emailing casting every single month and I was like, hey, just wanted to see if I'm still in the pool. Just wanted a little status update to see if I'm still on the radar. And every month they would say I was and that my pool would last for 8 months. And so we were coming up on that 8-month mark where I was like, oh my god, my pool's gonna expire. I need to audition again because I was getting strung along. I was being told that it's gonna happen eventually, but it never did. For 8 whole months. Imagine how I was feeling. Just imagine how I was feeling. They kept telling me yes, but I wasn't seeing any results for 8 months. My brain was in shambles. So in May of 2023, 8 months after my last audition, Disney posted an in-person audition. Growing up, I used to watch videos of how in-person auditions worked all the time. I watched hours and hours of Walt Disney World audition videos because I wanted to eventually do one. So in May of 2023, I finally went to an in-person audition. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, it was not as scary as all of these people were making it out to be. This in-person audition in May was probably one of the best experiences of my life. Like, it was so fun. I made friends with some of the people around me. I was joking around. I was having such a good time. I'm not a dancer. When it comes to learning like movements and dance steps and everything, don't count on me. I need about like 3 hours to learn a 15-second TikTok dance. So when I tell you I went in there not taking it too seriously, just trying to be myself and let the casting director see my personality, that's all I did. We had about like 10 minutes to warm up and check in. And then we spent about an hour learning how to do an animation and a dance. At Disney auditions, it's very typical to learn an animation and then a movement. So an animation is practically playing charades. This is so random. This is not the scenario they gave us, but they'll be like, pretend you're at a pool party and then something goes wrong. You as the person who's auditioning have to come up with a story of what goes wrong, and you have to animate it and kind of play charades so that the casting directors know exactly what you're acting out. And a movement is practically a dance. It could be as simple as like step touch, pretty arms, or it could be like pretty intense with like pirouettes and stuff. There were about like 100 girls there, so they split us all up into groups of 10, and then in your group of 10, you perform your animation and movement in front of the casting directors, and then you stand in front of them and you smile, and they take notes, and then they're like, all right, let's see your profile. You smile, they whisper to each other, and then they take notes, and then they're like, okay, next group. That part was nerve-wracking. Let me tell ya, when two grown women are sitting in front of you on laptops, typing, staring, whispering, staring, not fun. Not fun, but the rest of it was fun. So then I went to the side, I watched all the other groups go, and it was just so fun to see everybody and how talented everybody was at this audition. At the very end of the audition, they were like, okay, we're gonna call some numbers. If we call your number, you stay put. If we don't call your number, then you guys are good to go for the day. So they went down the list. They were calling numbers in numerical order as to who they wanted to keep. But they called my number, and I was like, oh my God, I almost immediately burst into tears. There were about 15 of us that were kept for the audition. And then the casting directors called my number again, and then they called two other girls, and they were like, hey, you three come up to the table. So I walked up to the table with these two other girls, and they were like, all right, so you guys are actually already in our pool. Your time in the pool is going to restart, so you don't have to worry about it expiring. We're gonna call you when a position opens up. And I was like, bro, that's exactly what you've been saying to me for 10 months now. I was still so happy and so excited to have made it through this process and to have moved on in a Disney audition, because they are pretty cutthroat. They went from 100 people to like 15 in one cut. My hopes were pretty high leaving this audition, just because I was like, okay, they've seen me again, they chose me again. It can't be that long until they call me. Joke's on me. They did not call me. Waiting wasn't as hard as it was in the beginning, because I honestly was so content working in merchandise. I loved my friends, I loved what I was doing, and it was honestly such a good time. Time flew by once again after this audition, and I heard nothing. I heard absolutely nothing until January, when my time in the pool was going to expire again. In January of 2024, I sent in another online audition to renew my time in the pool. And after I submitted it, I never heard back. And I was like, a month after I submitted the audition, after not hearing back, I emailed them at the end of February. And I was like, hey, I submitted this online audition in attempts to renew my time in the pool. I've been in it since August of 2022. Let me know if I move forward in the process. So at the beginning of March, I got an email back, and they said that I did not move forward in the audition process and that I'm no longer in the hiring pool. So pretty much I got rejected, and they told me that I was no longer in consideration after being in consideration for almost 2 years at that point. This was a dream that I put so much energy towards, so much effort towards. I was confident it was going to happen. I had so much hope. So to be told to my face that my dream is dying was one of the worst pains ever. So I just spent days like crying and trying to come to peace with this dream dying. And I was like, how am I gonna move on? Like, I stayed down here for so long in hopes for this dream to come true, and I was told that it's not. I'm not even kidding you when this was an emotional roller coaster, because 2 weeks later I got an email from Disney Casting, and they were like, you know, your pool expired recently. Why don't you come in for another audition? They invited me back in for an audition after I got rejected. So you're telling me you put me through the ringer and you're gonna bring me back in for an audition? You're joking. So I went in for this audition. Like, the casting directors personally told me, they were like, hey, sorry we sent you that rejection email. It's been so long since we've seen you, so we just wanted to see you again. It had the same vibes as the callback that I went to way back in 2022. It was extremely magical, it was extremely fun, extremely emotional. I read a script for the casting directors, they took a video, they took pictures, and they were like, all right, you'll hear back in a couple of weeks. And I was like, I'll hold you to it. After almost 2 years of waiting, I got my offer in April of 2024 after that whole debacle. Now you know what I've been going through these past 2 years. When I tell you I've been through it, I have been through it these past 2 years. And this is why I'm so grateful for the support that you guys have given me, because like I said, if it wasn't for you guys and my friends and my family, I would not be here. I would not be in Florida. I would have moved back to Chicago. I would have given up on this dream, but I didn't. And yeah, that brings me to the end of this journey. I also wanted to take time to thank everybody on the West Side. If you guys didn't already know, I was a merchandise cast member on the West Side of Magic Kingdom, so in Adventureland, Liberty Square, and Frontierland. I want to give credit to everybody there for being so supportive, even though everybody there knew that my goals were outside of merchandise. They gave me such an incredible opportunity to grow and learn as a merchandise cast member. They let me be a trainer and they let me be a coordinator. I just want to thank them so much for doing that. Even though they knew that I was trying to leave the area, they saw my potential as a leader and they continued to help me grow professionally. So it really means so much to me that I had such a safe environment to work in while I was working towards my dream. But yeah, I love all of you guys on the West Side. If you're watching this video, you guys mean so much to me. All of my friends, all of my leaders, everybody that I've worked with. I already miss you guys. I think that brings us to the end of this video. I have no idea how long it's gonna be. I'm gonna try and chop it down so it's not over like 30 minutes. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for everything that has happened. Obviously, there are so many details that I didn't talk about in this video just because 1, character integrity. 2, if I went into detail, this would be like a whole docu-series. But yeah, now that we're at the end of the video, I wanted to reiterate character integrity. Please, please, please help me maintain character integrity. If for any reason that's compromised, I will have to put content creation on a pause because I do want to pursue this dream without any consequences. It feels good to have all of this finally off my chest and to enlighten you on what's been happening the past 2 years. So yeah, that's that. Isn't that crazy? I just want to let you guys know that if you have a dream, chase it. Do not let that dream die. It is not easy to follow your dreams. You do need a lot of courage and a lot of strength and a lot of support. At the end of the day, you can do it. You know what your dreams are and you can make them come true. I hope to take you guys along with me as I continue along this beautiful journey that is just beginning. That is all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you comment and subscribe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!